Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking the architect of integrity, Joseph's blueprint for lasting success. We're going to take a fascinating ancient account and extract a vital blueprint that you can use right now in the modern world.
Okay, let's dive into this. Stop scrolling. One hidden decision can either destroy your future or define your legacy forever. Think about that for a second. That right there establishes the absolutely massive stakes of our hidden, everyday choices right out of the gate. What we're going to explore today is how a single, private moment literally holds the power to shape your entire public destiny.
And you know, that legacy, it is constantly under attack. Just look at the environment we operate in today. Modern society relentlessly rewards selfishness, dishonesty, and of course, instant gratification. But Joseph's story offers this incredibly urgent counter-narrative. It's an ancient blueprint for lasting success. It reveals a truth we desperately need to grasp right now. Sure, shortcuts are tempting, and integrity might cost you something in the short term, but doing the right thing is the absolute bedrock for a kind of success that no storm can ever destroy. Let's move to the timeline and see how this builds. Phase 1, we have his years of betrayal and slavery. Phase 2, his time rising up in Potiphar's house. Phase 3, the years spent down in prison. And finally, Phase 4, his era as ruler of Egypt. It's a journey of extreme, chaotic peaks and valleys, and those wild shifts are exactly what forged the lessons we're unpacking today.
So, starting at Phase 1, betrayal at the deepest level. Before Joseph ever stood in any position of real influence, he experienced the most agonizing betrayal you can imagine. His own brothers, completely blinded by jealousy over a favored multicolored coat, threw him into a literal pit and sold him into slavery for 20 shekels of silver. I mean, just imagine the pain of being completely discarded by the very people who were supposed to protect you. Most people, they would have allowed that kind of trauma and bitterness to entirely consume them. A lot of us would have just given up right then and there.
But Joseph chose a totally different path. Look at his response to suffering. He remained disciplined, hardworking, and faithful. Even in profound suffering, he absolutely refused to let hardship corrupt his character. Instead of becoming angry and reckless, which, let's be honest, would be the natural human reaction, he leaned hard into discipline. And it was exactly this attitude that eventually brought him out of rock bottom and into the house of Potiphar, a very important Egyptian official.
And this brilliantly illustrates a core dynamic of character. Integrity naturally inspires confidence. In Potiphar's house, Joseph quickly earned absolute trust because he was dependable, he was honest, and he was hyper-focused. Eventually, Potiphar placed his entire household under Joseph's care for one very simple reason. People naturally trust those who consistently do what is right, especially when nobody is watching.
Well, then came the real test. Let's break down the anatomy of this temptation, because it wasn't just a one-off event. It was constant pressure, day in and day out. It was a calculated pursuit by Potiphar's wife, and Joseph was in dangerous isolation. He was young, alone, far from home, with literally zero family or friends around to keep him accountable. Human logic could have so easily justified giving into that immense pressure.
You know, today our culture whispers the exact same excuses to us. We hear modern whispers like "you deserve it," "follow your feelings," or "nobody will ever find out." But let's contrast that with Joseph's ancient mindset. Private decisions shape public destiny. He deeply understood something that most folks today just ignore. He knew for a fact that the choices we make in secret will always, eventually, echo in the light.
So the crucial point is, what does that actually mean? True integrity is settling your values before pressure arrives. Joseph didn't wait until he was right in the heat of the moment to figure out his boundaries. He explicitly told Potiphar's wife that betraying his master would be wicked. He didn't flirt with the temptation. He didn't test his limits just to see how close to the edge he could get without falling over. No, he had already decided well in advance exactly who he was going to be.
We really need to pause on the danger of unchecked desire for a second. Because modern culture constantly celebrates impulse over discipline, right? It tells us to chase every craving, prioritize pleasure above all else. But the source material here is crystal clear. Unchecked desire destroys lives, literally every single day. It ruins marriages, careers, friendships, businesses, you name it. One reckless decision born out of unchecked desire can erase years of hard-earned trust. Joseph saw right through that temporary pleasure, straight to the long-term devastation hidden behind it.
Then the pressure snapped. Potiphar's wife caught Joseph entirely alone, grabbed his garment, and made her absolute final demand. In that split second, it was a do-or-die choice: surrender or run. And he ran.
That escape? That is the ultimate display of strength. We so often think of strength as standing your ground and fighting back,
But sometimes true strength is literally leaving your coat behind and sprinting away from what could destroy you. He actively chose purity over temporary pleasure. He chose character over mere convenience. Basically, he chose his integrity over a hidden compromise.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the hidden cost of doing the right thing. Here is the really uncomfortable reality. You'd think doing the right thing would bring an immediate reward, right? Well, wrong. Potiphar's wife falsely accused him, and Joseph was thrown straight into a dungeon. I mean, imagine how incredibly unfair that must have felt. He honored his core principles, resisted this immense temptation, and his grand reward was a prison cell.
This brings us to the prison crucible. He stayed faithful, continued serving, and continued leading. This is a reality that discourages so many people today, mostly because we just assume integrity should instantly produce comfort and recognition. But life simply doesn't always work that way. Sometimes the hardest seasons follow our absolute best decisions. Yet, prison didn't destroy his spirit. He stayed so faithful that the warden actually put him in charge of all the other prisoners. While most people would have just surrendered to the bitterness, he stepped up and led with excellence.
What was happening in that dark, completely unfair prison was vital. We're talking about character forged in silence. His unwavering commitment in those quiet, unapplauded moments was secretly building a massive foundation of deep trust. And over time, that quietly developed character began to pry open huge doors that mere talent never, ever could have moved.
And that brings us to the stunning climax, going from running to ruling. After 13 long years of slavery and imprisonment, Joseph was pulled straight from the dungeon to stand before Pharaoh. He ended up helping prepare an entire nation for a devastating famine, ultimately saving countless lives. It is just incredible poetic justice. Really think about it. The man who once literally ran from temptation eventually ran an entire nation.
You see, his massive success wasn't built on manipulation or corruption. It was built entirely on the integrity he developed in private. Talent opens the door, but character keeps you there. This brings us to a fundamental truth for your own life. Sure, talent might get you the initial opportunity, ambition might crack the door open, but only deep-seated character determines if you actually get to stay in that room. Your greatest opportunities depend entirely on the integrity you display when nobody else is watching. If you take absolutely nothing else away from this, please remember this quote. Integrity may feel costly in the moment, but compromise always costs more in the end. Joseph's story proves that character is never wasted. Sure, the world might reward shortcuts for a short season, but lasting, unshakable influence? That belongs only to people who can actually be trusted. Every single honest decision and disciplined response you make is actively shaping your future destiny.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with one direct question to chew on. What kind of foundation are you building right now? Are you fiercely protecting your integrity? Or are you slowly trading it away for temporary attention, maybe some fleeting pleasure, or just cheap approval? Remember, the strongest people aren't the ones who never face temptation, they are the ones who flat out refuse to surrender to it. Keep choosing integrity, even when the world makes compromise look incredibly easy. Thank you so much for joining me today, and if this explainer inspired you, be sure to share it with someone who really needs this blueprint right now.